Where does the time go? Have you ever asked yourself that? Many of us find ourselves asking that question often, even on a daily basis. In fact, the number one reason for not reaching maximum success is the excuse of lack of time. Not having enough time is not the problem. It is a symptom. It's the symptom of a problem of inefficiency. Time is the one asset that we all have the same amount of. We each have 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week. Yet we tend to spend it much differently. What we can do, however, is address the underlying problem, inefficiency. And by becoming more efficient with your time, you will be able to accomplish more of your goals and ultimately achieve maximum success. Our days fly by so fast as they are filled with meetings, appointments, social media, phone calls, emails. Does that sound like anyone's days here? Absolutely. Well, some of that is not the most productive use of your time. I'm sure you've had your fair share of unproductive emails, phone calls, and meetings. But this is not going to be one of those. The way that you can invest your time and maximize the time you've spent in being here today is to take away one or two keepers or ahas. These are going to be things that resonate with you, that you believe that you could implement in your business and create efficiency immediately once you go back to your office. Let's begin by defining what is efficiency. Efficiency is about maximizing your outputs while minimizing your inputs. We want to maximize achieved goals and success while minimizing the time, energy, and money we invest in that. During our short time together today, we are going to discuss 3 principles to create efficiency. The first principle, ask questions. The second principle is to eliminate. And the third principle to create efficiency is to create systems. Let's take a deeper look at these 3 principles. The first one, ask questions. Ask questions to find problems and discover solutions. According to Socrates, questions give birth to new insights. This is a great reminder that questions allow us to see things differently. Next, Dr. Seuss was quoted saying, "Sometimes the questions are complicated and the answers are simple." I'd like to modify this just a little bit, and I would say, sometimes the questions seem complicated and the answers are actually simple. I was thinking about this presentation this morning and about the 3 principles I was going to share with you. And what I do know is that principles are universal from industry to industry. And my 3 principles are very similar to what you do with your clients. When you sit down with them and you have a consultation, don't you start by asking a lot of questions to find out what their problems are and potentially what solutions you can provide for them? The same is true for your own business when you're creating efficiency. 2, eliminate. Eliminate that which should not be done at all. Peter Drucker said it best. There is nothing as useless as doing efficiently that which should not be done at all. Next, another form of eliminating is delegating. One of my clients, Heather Nunez, that works for Cartier, said, her motto is, I move it from my to-do list to their to-learn list. At times, we feel like it's easier for us to do activities and tasks ourselves instead of delegating it. But this is an excellent reminder that it takes delegation and elimination to free up your time to do what's most important, which is achieving your goals and maximizing your success. Do any of you guys have a conversation with your clients about eliminating debt? How they spend their money? That before you can place a plan in front of them, they may need to clean some clutter up or financial debt. Very similar. Next, the third principle, create systems. Create systems that increase productivity and organization. Systems is a design of procedures, processes, and action steps that together manage the operational aspects of your business. Systems can be created for every area of your business, from simple things about how you handle new clients, all the way to how you handle your employees, how you keep in touch with your clients. All of those are an accumulation of systems within your business. Systems are tools for growth and success because they eliminate waste and inefficiency. Once you've created efficiency, you will be able to maximize your output and minimize your input. You will have more time, energy, and money to accomplish all that you want to accomplish. Personal productivity. Let's take a look at how these three principles can be applied to your personal productivity and specifically time management. When I sat here and I was listening to you speak the first half an hour of your meeting, time was spoken 8 times. Time that you're invested in your board, time that you're invested in returning emails, sending letters, contributing to your political committee. Everything was centered around time. And everybody up here was pleading for your time or money. So it's very useful that that's what we're going to talk about today, because this is one of the most important aspects of our business. Time management is not about managing your time. It's about managing the activities that you do with your time. Personal productivity can be broken up into 2 categories: what you spend your time on and how you spend your time. How many of you guys can tell me what you did last Friday at work? Or how about just yesterday? Do you know where the time goes? Once you're able to answer that question, you're able to provide solutions for your day and your business and your personal productivity. One of the strategies I use with many of my clients is to track their time. Once they track their time, we're able to evaluate it, create a plan, and see inefficiencies. There's 3 ways. Now, I know many of you instantly said, track your time. Who has time for that? Right? The goal is to make it as simple as possible. I will tell you that there is so much good information in just being aware of how you expend your time. Let's bring this home a little bit. You sit down with a client, and you're getting ready to do financial planning, and they have no idea where they spend their money. Is that common? They don't know where it's at, what they did with it. How can you help them if they don't know where it went? It's very similar. How can we help and improve our time management if we don't know where it goes? So there's 3 ways. The first way is to track it on your calendar. Whether you are a digital calendar or a paper calendar, add in the activities that you're doing. The next, you can use a simple daily tracker sheet that I've used for my clients and created for them. Or last, drop the technology and just carry a steno pad around with you and jot down the things that take your time. This would include your meetings, your appointments, phone calls, emails, interruptions, clients, but most importantly, the very little things that you may think are not that important. Social media, employees. As soon as you start tracking your time, you will be much more aware of how you're spending it. There's 2 immediate benefits. The first benefit is that it's an accountability tool. You will immediately make improvements in the way that you're spending your time because you're aware of it. And the second is that the second benefit is that you're able to create solutions because now you can delve into it and ask the questions. Once you've tracked your time for 1 or 2 weeks, what are you going to do with that data? I'm going to give you some questions that you can ask to identify inefficiencies in your time. The first one, is this activity necessary? It may be simple, but how many times do you do something in your day because somebody asked you, an email came in, a phone call, or it may have been easier than delegating it to somebody else? Oftentimes that question can lead to some alternative solutions. But if it's not necessary, then eliminate it. The next one, if it's necessary, are you the person who should be doing this activity? Honestly, if you know what your goals are and you know what your idea of success is, are there some activities that you might not have to be doing with your time, or you should not be doing with your time? Does anyone want to share with me something that they have recently delegated out or that consumes a lot of their time? Nothing, quiet audience. Yes?
Many years ago, opening mail. I don't touch a piece of mail because I just want it to be fast.
Excellent. And so it took the time to show somebody how you wanted your mail opened and probably sort it for you and keep only what's important, and that's what takes his time. Sometimes it's the simple solutions, and I love that he shared that. Because sometimes we think it needs to be big changes, and it does not always need to be big changes. You just need to be more aware of how you spend it. As I sit here with a Starbucks drink at my table, sometimes it's the little things you spend your money on a daily basis that add up, right? For your clients as well when you're trying to do budgets with them. All right. Now, some of you may not delegate because you don't have a qualified person to delegate it to. If you don't have the right people around you, by asking these questions, you're going to get really clear that you might not have the right staff surrounding you to support you in your goal of maximizing your success. And the last one for each activity is, are you doing this activity as efficiently as possible? Some of you might not be able to answer this question right offhand, but I'm going to give you some ways that you can dissect any activity that you do to get down to the root of efficiency. The third principle, creating systems. For every activity you do, it's going to be one of these options here. Can you eliminate steps within the process? How many of you remember when you were new in the business and it took hours to get ready for a new client? And then as you become seasoned, you make shortcuts, you get down to the essentials, and it may only take you 15, 20, 30 minutes to get ready for a new client. Is that creating efficiency? If you were a senior in your industry and you saw somebody new in the business, would you help them with eliminating extra steps, simplifying the process, and being able to get ready for a new client quicker? Doing the activity less frequently. This is an excellent example. I worked with one company and I sat with each of the employees. And I would ask them, what do you do? How do you spend your time? What are your responsibilities? What don't you have time to get to? So one employee, it was her job to do an end-of-the-day report. It took her about 45 minutes to an hour every day, and the report was emailed to all of the directors and managers in the company. As the days went by, I asked them. I sat with the managers and directors, and I asked them, so do you get this report every day? Yes, but I do not have the time to read it. I never even open it. I delete it. And I go to the next manager, and I hear the same thing. And I go to the next manager, and I hear the same thing. Oh, I get to it every once in a while, maybe once a week. Really? Did you know that you have an employee spending 5 hours a week creating these reports that are not being read? All right, so could this report serve the same purpose if it was delivered once a week? Now you've got your employee down to 1 hour a week creating a weekly report, and the managers and senior level executives don't need to waste their time or feel guilty that they're not reading the emails daily. This may be really simple, but this is what consultants come in and do. We go in and ask questions to find problems and discover solutions. We assist in identifying what can be eliminated. And then we create efficiency systems for your business. I'm sure that there are several things within your day that you could do a little less frequently that would create more time. The next, consider the time of day. I love this one. How many of you guys heard that you need to do the most important task first thing in the morning? Absolutely, right? Well, for those of you that do not function before 2 cups of coffee, that's not a good idea. And as a personal productivity trainer, I do have a different opinion about this. And the opinion is that you need to do your most important activities when you have maximum energy. And each of us are very different, but by asking this question, you can be aware that maybe you have more energy after lunch, or maybe it's mid-morning. But for you, it needs to be unique so that it works for you and it's customized for your energy levels. So sometimes doing the same task in a different part of the day will create efficiency. How about use of technology? Does anybody in the room need more technology? Come on, what if I told you that the next technology will save you time, energy, and money? Oh, that's what they all say, right? Well, I don't think you need more technology or even different technology. But what you can do is learn your technology better. Most technology will save you time, energy, and money, but only if you know how to effectively use the program. Is there a program that you use in your daily business that if you knew it a little bit better, you can get your work done faster? Next, automate. We all have things in our days, tasks and activities, that can be automated, but we do it manually. What about drip campaigns to keep in touch with past clients? How about automating that? It provides consistency and simplicity. Next, create a template. Again, this may seem simple, but do you email when you have a new client or a prospective client? Do you email them afterwards and thank them for visiting you? Do you write that letter the same way every time, over and over? What if you could template it, customize it a little bit, and now the email's out in 2 minutes instead of 7 minutes? Last, one of my favorites, create a checklist. Checklists are phenomenal. They take the thinking out of the process. You do all the thinking up front, and then when your activity comes up, you use the checklist, And you can guarantee that it's going to be done consistently, that it's going to be done simple. I'm heading out of town to Chicago in a couple days, and I've had a lot of deadlines, and last night I thought, oh, I got to get ready. Little heartbeat, print out my checklist, and everything was good. I knew everything was handled. Because the anxiety comes from thinking you're missing something. The anxiety comes from that you may think that you're not prepared. But if you take the time to create a checklist up front in your business for any system that you create, you'll know you don't miss a beat. The other benefit of having checklists is that all your clients get serviced the same way every time. You heighten the customer service that you're able to provide to your clients. By utilizing the 3 principles, ask questions, eliminate and create systems, you will be able to maximize your success and increase your time management. Let me ask you, is all this worth it? Do these simple ideas seem like it's worth it? If you could save 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week, that's 65 hours a year. 15 minutes a day. What could you accomplish with an extra 65 hours a year? Longer vacation. Anything else? Close a few more deals? Get a few more clients? Make a few more phone calls, prospecting, because we know we don't have time for prospecting. Common excuse. 65 hours could probably change a lot. What if you doubled that? 30 minutes a day. Let's look at the 3 principles and find out how it can improve your organization, and specifically, email management. Anyone need a little assistance with email management? You feel a little overwhelmed. They never stop coming in. Every email is somebody that wants something from you. They want you to volunteer your time. They want you to buy something. They want you to do an activity, a task, be there. And it doesn't end. For some of us, we get hundreds of emails a day. For some of my clients, I've walked in and they've had thousands of emails in their inbox. How do you handle that overwhelmness? Have you ever just gone in to check your email, put your head down, and looked up and wondered where the last hour went? Absolutely. You see, time is one of your most valuable assets as a business owner and professional, and yet anyone that has your email can take a snippet of your time. So how do you take control over your emails and manage your time better? A disorganized inbox is full of emails is the consequence of delayed decision making, which costs you time, energy, and money. What gets overwhelming is that it seems like there's so many decisions to make with every email that comes in. Some of us like to scan our emails, cherry pick which ones we're going to answer. We'll get back to them later. But what if one of those important emails runs off the bottom of the screen because more came in by the time you came back from a luncheon or an appointment? I know that the room is silent, but because I've worked with so many clients, this is a reality for a lot of professionals. It really boils down to 5 simple email decisions. Delete or unsubscribe. Delegate. Forward it to somebody else. Respond. File it. Or schedule the task or event. Let's take a deeper look at the processes and systems that once implemented make these decisions much simpler for you. First and foremost, every email that comes in, we have to do rapid fire and we have to make quick decisions. Is it junk? So we normally either keep it, some people do, or delete it. But what's the better answer? Unsubscribe. And it seems like it takes a few more minutes or moments, but really, every time that junk comes into your inbox, it's distracting you. It's clutter. And what's happening is it's getting a glimpse of your attention and your most valuable asset of time, and you're not able to spend that extra time with important emails or clients. So unsubscribe. Is the email just informational purposes? Many of us go to check our email and there's a great article, newsletter, something that can educate us, and we start reading. And then we click the link, and then we watch the video. And then next thing we know, we don't remember what we were there for. So let's come up with a solution of how to handle all these informational emails. Quick response. How many of you guys just quickly rapid fire a response back and then the original email sits in your inbox? One half a hand, I know it's true. Do you have a way to quickly integrate your emails with your calendar? Can I take a show of hands? How many people here use Outlook? And the remainder, Google, maybe? A couple Google? Great. Next one. Does this email need your immediate action? Is there a task associated that needs to stop what you're doing and you need to take action on it? Or do you need to take a future action? This is one that stumbles people up because almost everything seems like it needs immediate action because we don't have a system to get back to the things that are really not that important or could be done in the future. Or do you simply need the email for future reference? Can you delegate it? Should you delegate it? Now these are a lot of questions, but these are the things that go through your head with every single email, and you multiply that by 100 emails a day, no wonder why we're not getting anything else done. Let's create some systems. Excuse me. Delete or unsubscribe. Can we have a system up front that's a process? We said systems are about processes, procedures, and action items. Can you just know up front that you're not going to handle any more junk mail and you're going to unsubscribe? That will clean out the clutter and it will clean it out fast. Next, delegate. How many of you guys delegate and keep the email in your inbox or forget that you delegated it to somebody else and you need to follow up on it? How's your follow-up when you delegate to employees or other people on your committee? What if you created a simple folder that said to follow up? You CC yourself on the email, BCC yourself on the email and drop it into the follow-up folder. Then your process is either daily or weekly. You check the follow-up folder and you can re-email somebody. You know, when I first got into business, we're all out to get some clients and meet people and interact with them. And if I wouldn't get phone calls back, it was almost tempting to think, oh, they don't need my service. Or maybe I can't help them. But then clients started calling me back, and I realized they had no follow-up system. They were overwhelmed with emails. That my perfect client loses my phone number, has no time to call me. Is that happening with your clients? Are you not going after potential clients because you think they don't need your service, but it's really they're a little disorganized? What if you had an excellent way to follow up? Your own system to follow up? Then you would not have to assume that they didn't want your services. It was really, they didn't have the time until you showed value. Respond. Determine which emails get filed or deleted. Oftentimes, we respond to emails, and perhaps the original email sits in your inbox. Or you delete it, but what if you don't know what to do and you're busy and the phones are ringing, you got clients coming? The whole point of this is to have upfront processes to know how you're handling your emails so that when this happens, you can immediately take action. What emails need to be kept? If you don't have a filing system in place, then it seems like too much work to just create a file folder or the file structure. But the goal is to eliminate. You want to delete anything you do not need or that you've already addressed out of your inbox and move it into a filing system. Let's talk about a couple excellent filing systems. For many of you, it might be by your client's name, that you want to keep all the correspondence going back and forth. Or maybe you have a folder for NAIFA. Many of you guys use Outlook, and Outlook is excellent because it allows you to drag and drop. It also allows you to create rules. Then once you respond to something, if there is a word in it, it can automatically file it for you. How many of you guys use a robust filing system for your emails? A couple of you. Filing in your emails is just like having a filing drawer full of paper. Okay? If I were to ask you for something and it was paper all over your desk, that's the same as having tons and tons of emails in your inbox. And I asked you to tell me what the most important thing you need to act upon it right now. Could you find it when it was at the bottom of a pile? Could you identify it and quickly take action on it? The goal is to create the filing system and drag and drop the emails once they've been handled, delegated, responded to, so that all that's left in your inbox are the items that need your attention immediately. How about a way to handle non-time sensitive information? I love this one. I create a folder that's called To Read. I move anything that is not time sensitive and it's only for my information, my education, and I move it there. And when do I read those? Doctor's appointments, a client is late, or sometimes a purposeful break in the day. You're working on a project, you need to get your eyes off the project. Why don't you move to your To Read folder and read those newsletters and items then? The part of this is that when those come into you at 10 o'clock in the morning and you go to glance at it and you start reading it, what if 10 o'clock in the morning is your most productive time? And now you're spending it reading an informational, non-urgent email. But the reason people do that is because they're afraid they're not going to get to it. They won't be able to find it when they want to read it. So just quickly create a folder that says To Read. Schedule tasks. I'm going to go into this a little bit because a lot of you use Outlook. Did you know that there is a little button called Quick Access buttons that you can program? And that once you program them with one click, you can take an email, create an activity or an event on your calendar, and it migrates all of the information out of the email into it. Do you have a way that every time somebody asks you to do something or be somewhere, that you can quickly integrate it into your calendar? I'm not going to ask for a show of hands here, but how many of you have perhaps missed an appointment, said, yeah, I'll be there tomorrow at noon, and then forgot to put it in your calendar? It happens if you don't have a system that you utilize all of the time. How about a way to capture all those activities and tasks that are coming to you via email? Outlook integrates your tasks inside your calendar. With one click of a button, you can create any email into a task that sits right on your calendar. And what that does is it allows you to not immediately have to deal with everything as other people determine you need to deal with it. But you can schedule it out for a day, 2 days, or 3 days later. So I've shared with you some ways to create, yes, Google. So there's no one that owns Google in here, right? So Gmail. Gmail is not as easy to use because you can't drag and drop. You cannot integrate your email by just one click of a button into your calendar. While Outlook has its few flaws, Outlook is phenomenal for productivity. And if you know how to use it correctly, which I really urge any professionals and business owners because you're in it all the time, it could really run your entire day and your entire business. In the previous example, I said, what if we could save 15 minutes a day? If you're in your emails 2 hours a day, and that you could quickly learn to maximize the technology, that you could create systems within Outlook, I can guarantee you can save more than 15 minutes a day. It's really about not being stagnant with the way that you're currently doing business. If you ask yourself all of the time, where does the time go, and you don't feel like you have enough time to get your regular work done, much less get ahead, then it's time to start asking questions. It's time to change things up, and it's time to reflect upon the way that you run your day-to-day business. How many principles are there to create efficiency? I didn't do my job. 3, that's right, 3 principles. Ask questions. Ask questions to find problems and discover solutions. 2, eliminate. Eliminate that which should not be done at all. And 3, create systems. Create systems that improve your productivity and organization. If you're able to implement these 3 principles into your business and daily life, you will maximize your output and minimize your input. You will have more time, money, and energy. Before I share with you my final thought, we have a couple minutes for any questions that you may have. Does anybody have any additional questions? If you don't, I will be available. Yes. You've got to love that when you unsubscribe, there's like 6 options on how you want to unsubscribe. Right. Right. Another option for unsubscribing is to create rules in Outlook that anybody that emails you from that domain gets put into either junk or a separate folder. Then you never need to see it. And the goal would be that it's not in front of you at all in your face. So that's another alternative. Great. Let me share with you some next steps. I'm offering a complimentary phone consultation for anyone that's interested in my services and would like to see how I may be able to help you or your business. We also have a newsletter that if you're interested, a sign-up sheet is going around, or you can sign up with Crystal in the back. And it's productivity tips to maximize your success. And one last item. As I appreciate your honest feedback and I'm always looking to improve the way that I convey information, I have a little questionnaire in the center of the tables. If you can take just a moment and fill that out for us. And I'd also like to take a moment to thank Ashley Hall for the opportunity to present to you today, as she invited me here. And before we end, I'd like to leave you with this. Time is our most valuable asset, yet we tend to waste it, kill it, and spend it rather than invest it. How will you invest in your time? Thank you.